was scary.
Oh, that was sweet.
Wow.
I'm shaking, bro. I'm shaking.
All the adrenaline.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Woo!
I'm ready.
Yep.
My body's ready.
Ready to tandem.
Thanks, Chris.
Are we zenning right now?
We're zenning.
We're just
so good
stretching
right
out.
Now. Here we are. Chris Forsberg gets the win.
Here, Larry Chen gets the photo.
What's up, guys? Larry Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. Today we're out here at Willow Springs at the balcony.
Balcony track.
This is the first place I've ever shot drifting in my life.
Is it?
Ever.
Was I there?
Yeah.
No. Probably not.
I've shot you many times here, especially the very first All-Star Bash.
Yes.
All-Star Bash 1.0.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a really good one.
We had a good time.
And actually, that was fun because I had a chance to shoot you, Ryan, and Vaughn here on the balcony.
Yeah, we did that team drift competition, and we went out and Turk, I think, almost rained you down, just like today.
Yes.
Yeah, you have some sort of magnet on you for Turk, and it's pretty rad that you can avoid it so often.
I guess I put myself into that situation, right?
Yeah, apparently.
To get the nice photos, you have to kind of be in the danger zone, right? So I'm always in the danger zone.
Oh yeah, well, like when you were over at the warehouse with us, I'm like, oh, there's Larry, and just kind of aim for you.
But my favorite part is I literally just did one of these yeah, exactly. So we've actually had a chance to kind of talk a little bit about your comp car.
Yeah.
When we did a video on your twin turbo car, but I've never actually featured this. And the crazy thing to me is you actually told me that this is the oldest car.
From what I understand, this is the oldest car in FD at this point. I've been running it since 2012, which puts this at its 9th season, which is half of my time in FD.
So the thing that really impresses me about this car is that it's had 3 different motor packages too, right?
Yeah, when you put it that way. And it started with the VK, the core motor, the Nissan Motorsports making 800 horsepower NA, and then we added nitrous, which put it up to about 1,000, almost 1,100 at the motor. And then, as turbo technology was growing,
wait. When you say core motor, that actually is like
championship off-road racing.
It's the short course.
Yeah, it was the short course Nissan engine package for Carl Renazenter and the Pro 4 truck.
Oh, it was a Pro 4, so it's all-wheel drive, and they run at these crazy tracks like at Crandon.
Yeah.
I've had a chance to shoot.
I
think so.
Yeah.
Is that right? I
Maybe.
don't know.
We'll find out. Someone's gonna tell you you're wrong.
But that's crazy. So it's that motor out of an off-road track.
And so it was the only engine in that series that was allowed to be fuel injected because it was so small.
Ah.
Yeah. So they allowed him to have ITBs and do these other mods to it, so they could bring Nissan in and try and run with Chevy and Ford and everyone else. And he won some races and even some championship with that engine.
In that iteration of that motor, it was still a 5.6 liter, just like the truck motor?
Yeah, it sure was. I'm gonna be in trouble here in a minute. They're screaming. It's Larry's fault.
All right, we had to move because we were rudely interrupted.
Yeah. Thanks, Big K, Big Vanille.
So we're
seriously though, thank you for setting up this whole track day. That was amazing, thank you.
To finish up on the VK56, you could have gone with any V8 motor, but you actually wanted to stick with Nissan.
Yep.
And it's crazy to me now to think about it that, I mean, this has won you 2 championships, right?
This chassis,
Yeah, that chassis, but that motor actually won 2 of them for you too, right?
we won all of our championships on the VK.
Oh, that's. Nah, you're learning me something. I forget these things. It's too many things, okay? Too many events. I don't even know how many events it is now, but I added it together for Formula Drift events, and I don't even know what it is. It's like
a lot, man.
How many is it for you?
For me, well, every one. I've been to every one. So, yeah, I think we're coming up on 100 or so. I've podiumed like 40 something. So we have like a 30 to 40% podium rate or something like that. It's pretty rad.
Pretty good. Pretty rad. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so after the VK56, I know you wanted to step it up. On what you were saying, the turbo technology kind of picked up, and you wanted to try the turbo 6-cylinder. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I had run the VK, like we said, we won championships with it 3 times. I ran that motor for 11 years. And I was like, you know what, I just want to do something different. And turbo technology was getting better. Guys were proving that it was reliable and fast and could win. And so I wanted to just shake things up too, because I was still, working with Nissan and wanted to essentially put the engine that came in the car back in the car. And that's very rare in FD. Most people, are swapping the motors out to something else. And so we did the VQ for 2 years. And the first year we had a lot of trouble. Well, we had a lot of trouble both years. We went through 10 motors in 2 seasons. But the second year, we won an event, we got a couple podiums, and we finished 4th overall, even though we swapped them, even though we basically had, what was it, 4th overall, we had 7 mechanical failures that year at 8 of the rounds. And we still almost got a podium championship.
Wow.
Because when it was on, it was on.
Right.
And then it would just like fail. We ran, I want to say 4 events, maybe 5, on 5 cylinders in competition. Because we were losing a cylinder and we're like, well, we still got to run it. So we'd turn the nitrous up, turn the boost up, and we would run it as far as we could.
And that's kind of the thing, you still run VQ motors. You like them, but it's just at that level of Formula Drift competition.
1,000 wheel, it's too much.
Well, that's the thing is, it's 1,000 is like old hat now, right? I mean, now you just did a dyno on this. What numbers
the
did it?
dyno was a little stretched.
It was?
Yeah. I believe that this thing is a solid 1,000 to the ground. There's a couple guys that are making 1,200 to the ground, but that like 950, 1,000 wheel horsepower is like the sweet spot for drifting. And so, yeah, it showed 1,270, but I don't believe that was accurate.
Just say it. Just say it. My car has 1,300 horsepower.
It's got a lot of freaking power. You saw it today. It's smoking the whole place out. And I was running medium boost today, not even full boost.
Right. Okay. So VQ, you tried it.
We gave it a lot of effort.
You did not give up after the first season. You tried it. You won an event. I think it was Formula Drift Orlando.
Orlando,
right?
Yep. We had an okay season 2017, but yeah, 2018 on the VQ, we definitely won an event, got a couple podiums, and it was a decent year, but we were just working way too hard. And so then we wanted to switch to the VR, which is a very, very similar engine platform. The funny thing is, this package from 2018 to 19, so from the VQ to the VR, the biggest changes was literally from the valve cover to the oil pan. It was the same intake manifold, same throttle body, same intercooler, same turbos, the actual physical same turbos from the VQ. We did custom exhaust manifolds, the same exact cooling system, the same wiring harness, the same injectors, the same water pump, the same fuel pumps. All of it was the same. Like I said, even the same engine harness, because it's like a very similar layout. We like laid it in there, plugged all the injectors back in, and so from valve cover to oil pan was like the big change. And that motor ran all season long. With 0 failures.
So much about it is the fact, of course, we all know the R35 is a supercar killer.
It's a freaking monster.
It's a monster, but part of it is that finally Nissan came out with a modern V6 motor. It's like an updated motor, plus each one is hand-built, right, in Japan for the GTR. I mean, I think whoever builds it signs the thing, right? Versus you got something like the VQ. The VQ's been out pretty much since the early 90s, you know? It was probably developed in the 80s.
Yeah, it's a older design, and it's also a much more mass-produced engine. It's the same block castings and head casting as Ultimas. right, with VQs, or even like Maximas.
What? No, it doesn't stop there. The minivans, the SUVs, pretty much every single car or truck.
So it's a great motor, but it needed to be cost effective to build, right? And it can make great power. Like we've seen them make, 600, 700, 800 horsepower. And my demo car has done 650 wheel. I run it through grid life all weekend long around 550 wheel. No issues. It's been in there for like 5 years now, and it's great. But as soon as we're crossing that threshold of 800 wheel, 900 wheel, we're just like cracking blocks and they're just getting pissed. These blocks are an entirely different casting. It's a denser material. It's a closed deck versus open deck. So it's not even just the fact that it's like physically, has the closed deck versus the open deck, which is a very big difference, but it's just physically denser. It's a heavier block. It's a heavier material. They did a whole new casting process for the GTR motor. And these things are just rock solid. You can push this block to 2,000 horsepower.
Wow. Right, so because we've seen all those crazy drag GTRs too, you know? It's a multi-purpose engine for now drifting. Yeah. You know, how many people use this actually for drifting? Are you one of the first?
Not the first. Jerry Yang, building the car for his shop. They put a VR into the R35. And it ran great, 0 issues all year. The same guy tunes my car, John Reed, tunes their car. He would start telling me, he's like, you gotta put a VR in that thing. He's like, I tuned at the beginning of the year, I haven't plugged the laptop into it since. It's just perfect. And there's a couple over in Japan that run, and like over in Russia, but very, very few. It's an insane motor.
In terms of literage, is it still stock?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do the BC, it's the stock bore size, I should say. The casting on the block and the physical liners on the block, they're plasma lined. They're so nice that anyone that's tried to sleeve them or bore them has actually had failures. So it's factory bore size, and then we do the BC stroker kit and get up to 4 liter. And from there, it's just off-the-shelf components. JE pistons, we got the SuperTech valve train, we got Tomei cams. Nothing's custom, nothing's crazy. It's just any part that you could just go on the website and order up for yourself.
That's how it should be. I mean, I feel like
that was the reason why we wanted to go back to this, because the VK was the opposite. Everything was custom, everything was handmade for that engine. The entire timing component system, the dry sump system, everything was custom made. And we wanted to get back to something that was more mass produced and easier to obtain.
Yeah, and I remember at the time you were running a 2-car team, but you only had 3 motors in between the 2 cars.
Oh, we had 0 failures, right. And so one seemed like enough, and it was.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have any mechanicals with those VKs. It was like such a great running engine. Like I said, people kind of, gave me a hard time, especially in 2017 when we had all those failures with the VQ. But it's like, hey, you gotta try something new. You can't just run the same old thing over and over and over. I mean, you can, but it gets old. Go for it.
Turk. We're getting turked over here.
Totally turked.
Okay, so we're actually out here at Willow Springs because we're doing preseason testing, and
it's our first test of the year.
Yeah, so this is the first test of the year since you've taken it down to bare metal.
So yeah, we took the whole thing down to the bare metal, sandblasted it, and then resprayed it with steel it inside out, top to bottom. And Jimmy, my crew chief, came out and helped with the first half of the build, and then we're waiting on the engine, some other components, and we finished up the entire thing. We did the entire rebuild at my shop, Blackout Garage on Costa Mesa, where you've been. You've been there before.
Yeah, I've been a couple times.
Where
you did donuts.
That's right, inside, yeah, all those things. But
breaking it in.
I'm super stoked with it. We moved a lot of weight around in the back of the car. I redid all the fab work in the back of the car, moving the fuel cell, the radiator, the cool suit, the battery, and even like some of the fuel components. And then up front is very similar to last year. We did some intercooler mods, trying to help with the cross flow bank to bank. And I just kind of cleaned up a couple things, added some radium fuel components, brand new Sabon carbon fiber body, and the Crown Carbon Crafting carbon fenders as well.
So how much weight did you actually save?
I pulled 50 pounds out of the car, which was that 50 pounds that we've been lugging around for the past couple of years. So now the whole thing with me in it is 2950, which is like perfect, because the funny thing that people don't understand, right? So we have our tire weight rule, and so I have to be over 2,900 pounds in the car after runs, or literally at any point during the weekend. If I'm 28.99, I'm disqualified. So you have to scale the car up, because when we burn a pair of tires down, guess how much weight that drops off?
That's quite a bit of rubber. Yeah. I mean, that rubber ends up in my face.
Take a guess.
It's got to be like 5 pounds.
20 pounds of rubber. Yeah, 10 pounds each.
20?
10 pounds each.
Okay, and that's pretty much 2 runs.
Yeah, and then you're pulling up to 3 gallons of fuel out. So you're losing almost 20 pounds in fuel. And then if you run nitrous, you could be burning up to 3 pounds or so of nitrous. And then if you dump a bumper or a taillight or something like that, that's another 10 or 15 pounds. So you really got to be like 50 over.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, because that happens all the time. I think you've lost doors before too, probably. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where anything can happen, and at any time, the tech guys can pull you in and they can weigh you.
Yeah, so, but at a bare minimum, we're pulling 40 pounds of consumables in those 2 laps. And I'm probably sweating 40 pounds worth of water too, because it gets hot in there.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
You've had the 370Z for so many years now. When are you going to retire this chassis? This is already the oldest car.
Well, that's what people keep asking. Like, why do you keep running that car? I'm like, well, A, it's still straight and still wins, so why get rid of it? You know, to build a whole new chassis is so much work and effort and time and money that this one's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And it is still currently the latest model Z. So there's no reason for me to build a new chassis until the new Z comes out, which we just have to wait for that one.
Oh,
so
okay,
that's what I'm holding out for. That's what we're holding out for.
All right. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Today was so much fun. Thank you for letting me chase you. It's always a blast
Larry.
to shoot you, no matter some way or another, video or stills or whatever. Plus, on top of that, I was riding in Turk's GT-4586, and I stuck my hand out, which, by the way, don't stick your hand out. Because when I stuck my hand out to film Chris, I promptly stuck my hand back in because his car was right there. He's right there. I could see his face. His face is right there.
I was smiling, we're laughing, we're having a great time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first test of the season is always such a great time.
As long as nothing's going wrong, it's just like, this is what we've been working 6 months for, right? So that's half of a year just dedicated to a car to build it, to come out and burn some tires down. So yeah, it's a good day.
Well, I think that's a wrap.